recording.
All right, countdown when you start. Or you just started. We can cut this, right?
No, this is going
All right.
How are you doing today, Cristiano?
I'm doing just lovely. I'm thriving and living my best life with COVID-19. And by with COVID-19, I mean literally having contracted COVID-19.
What's it feel like?
It feels really good. It makes me really
Can you
appreciate.
taste?
Yeah, I can taste. I'm drinking a nice IPA right now. I won't mention the brand because of sponsoring, But but I
All
can
right,
taste
so
it's just as bitter as always.
nice. So basically, this is a League of Legends podcast on NA LCS. Me and Cristiano have been fans for a while, so we
Yeah.
thought, why not make a podcast, right? So I was wondering, do you feel like the best team won the lock-in tournaments? And what were your
So
takeaways from that?
so Team Liquid, obviously the big winners, beating C9 in 5 chest gripping games. And I think it really did show how they were better than Cloud9 at least, which is looking like the next strongest team. So I thought honestly Cloud9 sort of got dominated in almost every position. Maybe besides jungle and ADC, I would say. But
Yeah,
top,
definitely not jungle.
Blabber is looking like a force this season. But I thought,
Blabber was good.
yep,
I
yep, yep.
thought I thought Blabber was better than Centaurn, to be honest. Or they were
Yeah,
at
I
least
can see
on
that.
par. Because like as a team, I feel like Team Liquid was obviously better. So
Yeah,
the fact that some of the games were so close, I attribute that a lot to Blabber, and I assume Perks too
yeah, I
had a
agree.
big role in that.
I could really see in like several of the key fights where it seemed like, at least obviously we didn't hear the comms, but it seemed like it would be Perks calling for Cloud9 to take a riskier move or a gamble when they're already on the back foot. And I remember at least one big time where there was like a 2v3 around Dragon with Perks and Sven, and they cleaned up the 2v3 and really turned around what was looking like a bit of a disaster for Cloud9. So I think Cloud9 definitely has some shining lights, but I think as of now, with their top laner looking like a big top diff,
Fudge.
yeah, big old top diff, I think we can confidently say Team Liquid is the best team, because honestly, I think Cloud9 are the only ones who come close to them.
I mean, I agree for the most part. I think Alfari in particular, my eyes were basically glued to him the entire
Oh yeah,
series.
hell yeah.
He was just so good. The first game, I remember he got killed and then he teleported back in and just got a
As
return
Jax,
kill right away. Yeah, that was so nice.
oh my god.
And then I
Whenever,
remember there was another play later in the game where there was like a fight bot and then Sven was just kind of chilling mid lane and like immediately after the fight, Alfari TP'd in and I was just like to like cut him off.
yeah,
I don't know if you remember that, but I was just like super impressed because he was just outplaying everyone on a micro level, and then like he's still having such good awareness. I don't know if that was completely him, but it was fast reaction time. Really
yeah.
impressed with his Jax.
Whenever someone picks Jax and has a good
Jax
game
is
on
an
it,
awesome pick.
yeah, it really
I
is.
love
It
watching him.
it instantly makes me think the world of them. They just
Hmm.
seem so badass, just beating everybody down with their lamp.
And they played around it well too, like
Yeah, and this was a good example
which
of
is
Jax
impressive.
just rolling over a game. I believe they counterpicked it, the Camille with Jax.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think they technically counterpicked it. I think the Camille side's probably easier to play, but it's still a skill matchup in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I remember it was being hyped up by the casters as a big skill matchup to watch, and we saw exactly who had more skill.
But even the fact that I was just really impressed because if you don't give context and you say like a Korean team pulled out a Jax and they stomped on it, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But when you say an NA LCS team pulled out a Jax and they stomped, like it's a little more impressive
It's not
because
often you
that
see
doesn't
that,
happen
right?
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even going further, I thought his Gnar was super on point in game 2. He had some great ultimates.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that actually. I don't know about you, but I hate Gnar. Like I don't think he's good. And to see Alfari do so well in that Gnar game, it made me see the light a little bit of what Gnar is capable of. And then he did sort of, I don't know, the next game he did go like 0-4 on it, but
I mean, but he just, I
what
don't know.
I
He
was
just had
seeing on
such
Gnar,
good. What I was really impressed with was he had such good timing with his like rage bar. Everything he did was just like, I don't want to say immaculate, but I felt like he just understood how to play around that really well. And the team as a whole kind of, I wouldn't even say the team, it was more so him just making plays with it.
yeah, I agree. I'm thinking you mentioning the rage bar and making good use of it reminds me of Cooney picking Gnar every game, and I feel like he was never in the right position to use his rage bar.
I was so ready for Nar to be a good pick, like, because he just got buffed and everyone was playing him. I was playing some solo queue and like 2 games in a row, I got matched with this same mid laner who played Gnar mid and just absolutely wrecked on it before the tournament started. So I was expecting big things out of Gnar, but like you said, it didn't really fulfill
We
expectations.
saw like a brief flash from Alfari as what Gnar could be
hmm
in the right
And then
hands.
going into game 3 when the reverse sweep almost happened.
Oh,
So our Fudge picked Malphite,
yeah.
and
Yep.
Team
He
Liquid
set the
had
mental.
yep. But Team Liquid had the counter pick, and they picked Gangplank, which I really didn't enjoy because I thought Alfari was just playing so well, especially early on in the lane matchups, where like the Gangplank makes sense, but I would have loved to see like a Fiora there because I forget the specific comps, but it already seemed like Team Liquid, I mean C9 had the better team fight comp, and I think if you give Alfari Fiora there, um, and just played like more of a 1-4 and just take over the Malphite in the side lane, take him out of the team fights.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a great pick there.
I'm pretty sure the lane for Fiora there isn't great. Malphite goes
Into
like,
Malphite?
yeah, if he goes like Thornmail and Boots. But I think you're right that after like
That's
two and a
true.
half items in the side lane, then he becomes sort of, you can't deal with him. If like Malphite, what is he supposed to do? Ult him, he gets riposted, and then Fiora beats his ass.
Mhm.
So like, and with the level that these teams were playing at, I can see Team Liquid being able to pull it off with like jungle pressure and alleviating maybe the bad matchup. But I do definitely agree with your sentiment that Gangplank is almost like a neutralizing matchup, right?
Yeah,
Despite
it's like an offside, weak side carry.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
really.
So
He
when
doesn't have CC.
I think like a good strategy all series long was really focusing this top lane where the
hmm
disparity is like so much more than in all the other positions. I think it's pretty obvious.
hmm Well, the next game, I thought Fudge on Aurelia actually looked pretty decent.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Um,
so scared. I was so scared in the beginning when he gets his flash blown and had to back like
mhm,
immediately. And then I thought like Blabber bailed him out a little bit there because he came back
yeah.
and they killed him under tower with the
This
dive.
series really was all about the top lane, I feel like.
Yeah, I know, right?
Both teams.
But
Um,
yeah.
And I was also super impressed with Core JJ's Rel. I felt like whenever he was in
Oh,
a
yeah.
bad spot, he just had some crazy good ultimates.
Do you
I was just
remember
really impressed with that.
the point where he's walking or running away more accurately from like all of Cloud9 and it looks like
Was it
he's
like
running.
the mid lane? Was it the mid lane?
Yeah. And then he
Yeah, I remember that.
flashes right back in without like giving
Yes, that
anything
was
away. Oh,
like over the little wall, like
yeah. Oh
in
my
the blue
god.
side jungle. Yeah,
Core
that was
JJ is
awesome.
Rel. I can't believe we haven't said his name yet because Core JJ is like the other really standout member of Team
Dude,
Liquid.
their league is producing so many champions. I like don't even know what the fuck like Rel does or VA. Like I just don't know to be honest. Like
Yeah, Rel I'm a little sketchy on. I know she's got like a stun, a pull in, and what else?
how do you feel about Viego?
Uh, I kind of hate him. I mean, I don't know how good he is, but I don't like all his mechanics. I feel like as soon as he becomes good through like a buff or people figure out an OP build, the going invisible all around the jungle and going invulnerable and healing every time he gets a kill is gonna be like
Mhm.
master E times 10, and it's gonna make me so
Well, in Diamond at least. So I'm Diamond 3
yep.
for the viewers that want some background for whatever that's worth. It's kind of aids up there, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I personally his mist has been like super obnoxious for me to deal with.
I can
Overall,
imagine.
I don't think he's like too busted, but I don't know. I hate that mist spell. I think it's really good.
I think he's super annoying to play, and like I said, I feel like there's gonna be some dumb item combination that people discover breaks him, and he's gonna become a terror.
Hopefully not.
Something unholy, Tank Viego or something.
Hmm. So, was there anyone else in the tournament that impressed you? For me personally, I thought Someday played really well. I was really happy with 100 Thieves. I was also really happy with Golden Guardians. I thought they played above expectations.
Hmm.
Um, I thought EG, I think Impact had a really good tournament as well.
Yeah, for
He didn't
sure.
make it to the finals, but he was playing Alfari to a T during their series.
Yeah, maybe they might not be underrated, but I think the EG lineup of Impact, Svenskeren, and Jizuke, and then Deftly and Pookie? Is that who's their support is?
No,
Pookie.
Ignar?
Yeah,
Ignar.
Ignar. I think
I feel like
that
they're a team.
can
I
be a
feel like
good
they're a
cross.
team that are they're like pretty easy to underrate. There's so many teams you want to be like good. So I had them lower personally, but
I think I have
I
them
don't
like
know.
about fourth. I mean,
I mean, based off that tournament, did you think the results were conclusive on how the split's going to look like? And if you had to give predictions right now on which three teams are going to make it to Worlds, which three teams would you pick?
ooh, I think you gotta say Team Liquid, obviously, and I think it
For
was
sure.
pretty conclusive. Even though I think there's a lot of people might say, "Oh, people aren't taking this tournament seriously." Oh, some teams didn't have all their imports. The imports that were missing, by and large, I don't think were exactly stars in their roles. I think the big imports made it: Sword Art, Perks, Alfari. I mean, imports like Xerxes. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't see Xerxes
I mean,
changing.
I see Immortals as being kind of like a not a dark horse team, but like a step below that. I think if Xerxes
One below a
good,
dark horse.
like a dark horse that can take some upsets. But I guess
Yeah.
for the world's argument, it's really between five teams in my opinion, like TL, C9, TSM, EG, and 100 Thieves. I think C9 and TL are definitely the most likely, and normally I would say TSM for sure because there's just something about them that like you never want to count them out. But I think 100T like they've looked really good across the board. I think Demonte's looked really good. Their bot lane, especially. Someday closer. I'm not like the hugest closer fan, but everyone's super high on him, and I'm super high on the rest of the roster. So I think
Yeah, I
they
agree.
can make some waves this season.
I see closer. I see him make a lot of good plays, but I also do see like every so often there will be a troll play that maybe speaks to his um his sort of new arrival in NA.
I don't know. I just see there's just I just when I watch him, I don't feel that like specialness about him. I don't know if that's fair for me to say, but
I just remember like a few
that's how I
games
feel.
last split where he was on Olaf and he just absolutely took over the game as Olaf. Maybe that's just like an Olaf thing because I feel like Olaf has been revolting for like a year now.
Hmm.
But
It is crazy to see just how much better they've gotten after replacing Haunter with Someday. I know a lot of TSM fans were wanting Haunter in the top lane instead of Huni, but
mhm,
this kind of just goes to show like you can't really be a world's contender with Haunter. You need
totally
my
agree.
take on Huni is he's kind of a double-edged sword. I think I think that this is the roster and the coaching staff that can really bring out the best in Huni, personally. So I think that upside, you have to take that over Haunter because Haunter's upside yes, he has a higher like floor as a player, but his upside will never be able. I don't think he'll ever be like a world champion, you know, which isn't a hot
I
take,
agree.
but
Yeah, I think definitely. I'm a self-professed Hooney hater. I gotta say, I think he's stealing paychecks a little bit. But over Hanser, I
um,
agree that his highs are much higher than Hanser's. And if he really gets into gear like later in the season, I remember on Clutch Gaming like a couple of years ago, he was a really
mhm.
bright spot for that team, and he just hasn't been able to recapture that since. So if he could do that, I can really see Hooney bringing value to this team. But I also heard that they had an opportunity to get Impact, which would have been oh so juicy, I
Yeah.
think.
Now looking at that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do want to talk about Huni a teeny bit more,
Hmm.
but I don't know if. Do you think that maybe the double lift drama with Team Liquid kind of severed? Well, double lift's not even playing, but like by the time rosters were signed, double lift was thinking about playing. Do you think? Oh, my headphones fell out. Do you think that severed relationship maybe prevented TSM from getting impact?
Ooh, so like Impact uh, didn't want to because of his previous history with Doublelift, or he heard that Doublelift left and didn't want to join anymore.
Um, More so like when Doublelift was still thinking about playing, maybe Impact didn't want to play with Doublelift or vice
Yeah, yeah.
versa.
Because I remember Doublelift. One of the big reasons Team Liquid let him go is because he wasn't showing very much effort, and he had like the infamous quotes about, "Yeah, spring doesn't even matter. Like I'm not even trying," or whatever the
And he
exact
was
quote
also
was.
saying his like teammates gave up on him. So I
Yep.
think that mainly came up from like Jensen, but I feel like Impact didn't defend him at the very least.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But oh man, that's a whole other can of worms. Doublelift leaving TSM.
But circling back to Huni real fast,
Yeah.
I just that the first maybe it was 2016, I forget specifically. When Immortals was first formed, they had like Wild Turtle, Adrian,
Mm-hmm.
Pobelter, Huni, and Rainover.
Yeah.
Huni and Rainover was just they just wrecked house, both on
Oh, they
Fnatic and
were. Yeah,
Immortals.
I was gonna say they came over from Fnatic.
They were so good then, like just by far so ahead of everyone. Once people started to figure out Huni's aggression, that's when TSM with Yellow Star managed to upset him in the playoffs
Oh, and denied
with
the
his Lucian
Worlds.
top. Yeah,
Yep,
when he
yep.
was like
Lucian
whipping out the
top.
Lucian top. But he was just so good. If like TSM can unlock that in any capacity, I could see them being really good. But as of right now, I have to put 100 Thieves over them for my last world
I
spot.
gotta agree. Yeah, I gotta go with Team Liquid, Cloud9, and then yeah, I think 100 Thieves just has maybe more upsides than Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses, I feel like on their best day could probably beat 100 Thieves, but the big thing is always Chizuke's reliability and is he consistent? And
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
if you go top to bottom against those two rosters, the only really I feel like 100T matches them on a chemistry level and individually.
Mhm.
Maybe not with Closer and Fenskaren if you're getting like MVP Svenskaren, but
I think as of now they're probably pretty close. Svenskaren's been like pretty good, or well, I don't know if I want to say pretty good, but he's been very acceptable.
well,
And
he's a vet. He's a vet. You if
yeah,
he brings a veteran air about him. And he's a good guy, so
and he's jacked. Hell yeah.
he's funny. He's a nice, cute teddy bear that's jacked and funny. He went through quite the transformation from being a
Yeah,
little
he got.
overweight back in the day.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I didn't he get like banned for a few games during Worlds one year for being
I
toxic?
completely forgot about that, but yeah, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
When he was
yeah.
back in the EU,
Yep, yep.
I think he
Oh
had like a
man,
racist quote unquote,
I think
not
so. Yeah,
intentionally, like username.
yeah. Unlike the
I think his
Korean server
username
when they were
was,
boot
don't
camping.
quote me, I don't know if this is right, but I think his username was like Ching Chong or something, and that's why.
Oh man, oh man.
That could be completely wrong, but I faintly remembering it being something along those lines.
Yeah, I remember it being something about a racist nickname. So,
All right, so moving on to the next section.
Yeah.
I thought we could maybe preview the upcoming weekend games based off of what we've seen so far, and yeah,
I'd
what
love
we've seen so
nothing.
far, I
I'd
guess.
love nothing more than that. That sounds lovely.
So Friday we got TSM versus Fly, TL versus IMT, EG versus 100 Thieves, Golden Guardians versus Cloud9, and CLG versus Dig. So first game, TSM versus Fly. Who do you have?
TSM versus Fly. I think I'm gonna give it to. I think I'm gonna give it to TSM. They didn't do. They didn't do great in the lock-in, but I think they showed enough promise. Power of Evil has really been a rock these past couple of years on like every team he's on. And I think that FlyQuest probably just hasn't been synergizing for long enough. Licorice looked really shaky throughout the lock-in tournament, I thought, which
Yeah,
is sort of sad to
I think you
see.
could kind of see he was tilted by his teammates. As sad as that is.
Yeah, sad to see after the highs of Cloud9
But
last
his
year.
jungler was pretty ass, and now they have
Jose
I think
Diodo.
Jose Diodo's back. So they might need some time to mesh. But I feel like me personally, I'm kind of lower on Fly than most. I do not think they're that great at all.
I
I
can
think they're going to
see
be
that.
bottom 4,
Johnson came into
to be
the league
honest.
so high, it felt like, on such a hot streak. But ever since that first split, I feel like he's never reached the same highs. And yeah, none of the other members really stood out to me. Palafox has been in academy for years. He's finally getting a shot, so maybe he'll prove himself this weekend
I mean, the
against
thing
Power
is
Evil.
with this Fly roster is everyone's like, oh, they got all the C9 Academy players, and C9 Academy players always do well when they come up, like historically. But they're with a different org. Yes, FlyQuest is a good org. They made some waves last split. They made Worlds. But I feel like people are just overrating them simply on the fact that, oh, C9 Academy, you know, they're not necessarily better than anyone else in the league, especially with different coaches
Yeah, the
and
narrative
personnel around
around
them.
the C9 Academy is mythical at this point.
It's justified some content.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I mean, obviously they do have um, a better academy system than many other teams. I mean, it must be
all
for
right,
them to turn out like this.
all right. So next game, TL versus IMT.
I think
Okay,
this
yeah.
is an
First
easy
game,
one.
I didn't give my but first game I'm also saying TSM. Now second game, I TL obviously.
Yeah, I think this is a clear TL victory. I think they legitimately might have the best players in every position. Um,
Position.
yeah, I'd say Santorin and Plaber. It's up for debate.
And they have Jat. Like Jat's
The Jet
I loved
superpowered.
listening to him. He's smart.
Yep,
He's a smart guy. He's a
super
nice guy too.
genius. And also Tactical and Sven, I think, are both comparable. But well, maybe
And
Jensen and
FBI.
Parks too. Yeah, FBI is definitely stepping up this season. It's very nice to see sort of these newer faces being able to contend
We
with.
have a lot of good ADs in the league, I'd say.
Yeah,
I feel
which
like
is
that's
surprising
one thing we've always been. Yeah, I guess it's kind of surprising. Yeah.
because that's like a pretty mechanical role, and everyone always makes fun of NA for being bad.
hmm
So
I mean, we were sending Sneaky to Worlds for like 7 years in a row.
true. Yeah. But yeah, I
All
think
right,
this is a
next
clear
game.
TL win.
I agree. Next game. EG versus 100 Thieves. Maybe we can go a little bit more in depth on this.
Yeah, I think this
Well,
one
we
is
kind of talked
my.
about them earlier, but
Yeah, we compared them a little bit. I think this one is definitely my match of the day. Um, all the other ones I feel are either, to be honest, sort of bad teams against each other or super one-sided. But this one,
I think, yeah. I think for this one, I'm actually going to say EG.
Ooh.
just because in the knockout stage, I think 100T looked a little better, but there's a world where in that game, the game 3 of the finals, that let's say TL does pick that Fiora and they wreck face, they 3-0 Cloud9, just like that, similar to how they 3-0'd EG, and then people wouldn't just automatically think 100T over EG through this like transitive property,
Yeah, so one place
So
I
I'm gonna
think
say EG.
could be a bright spot for EG is the mid laner Chizuke. I think that this can potentially be where they blow the game open. Demonte is known for playing sort of like your TFs, your Gallios, your sort of mid lane roamers, and Chizuke is known for his aggressive champion pool. So I think if you ban out sort of the appropriate picks uh, against why am I blanking on his name?
Chizuka.
The other one,
Oh,
Demonte.
someday. Oh,
Demonte.
Impact. Oh,
If you ban out Demonte sort of roaming global teleport style champions, I think all of a sudden Jizuke can be unlocked to really have the impact on the game that he wants. So I think that's one strategy EG could definitely use to take it over 100 Thieves. Otherwise, it's a super close matchup, I think.
so
And
who would you pick?
I know, right? I got to put some skin in the game, huh? I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go 100 Thieves though, to be honest. Because NA teams drafts are not their strong points from what I've seen, and so I would
So you think
honestly
it
be
comes down to the draft, is what you're saying?
a little bit. I mean, without seeing more of these teams, I think Someday is better than Impact, and I think Monte's roaming playstyle can definitely be more effective than Jizuke's like mechanical outplay playstyle if it
I
works
mean,
out.
in my opinion, I think Alfari was by far the best player, um, the best top laner. Well, not by far. I think he was the best, but I think both Someday and Impact played him well. I'd argue Impact even played him a little better.
Ooh.
So, for whatever that's worth, but yeah, I'm gonna pick EG. I don't know what strategy they're gonna use or anything. My gut's just telling me that. Still think 100T for Worlds.
Love EG. I
But
mean, trust me, I'd love EG to win. They've got the Italian stallion Jizuke, the man
he
himself.
back in a few Worlds ago, I remember that he was on Vitality. And remember when Cloud9 got out of Worlds, they ended up getting to semis?
Yeah,
They were looking like they were gonna get out, and they just shit
Vitality
the
were.
bed. Yeah, do you remember that?
Was that the?
It was like C9 Vitality, and
That
then a
wasn't the
Korean team
roster
and a
that
Chinese team.
beat SKT, was it? I think that might have been
Oh no,
G2.
that was the bracket where Samsung Galaxy or whatever finished last, and then C9 beat the Coup Tigers. I'm pretty sure in the quarterfinals.
Wow, I don't remember that at all. Maybe I wasn't tuned
All
in
right,
that year.
whatever. So we'll run through these a bit faster. But
Yeah.
next game, GG
Golden
versus
Lions.
C9. C9.
Yeah, gotta give it to C9. I think they showed they're an elite caliber team this tournament, and GG did not. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say C9.
Me too. I will say that I thought GG looked better than I was expecting, which I was happy with,
Uh-huh.
coming from one of the lower seeds. But yeah,
GG.
C9 easy peasy.
Yeah, I think Niles
GG
looked
well
promising.
played.
GG, well played. Yep.
All right, next game, CLG versus Dig.
CLG versus Dig. Oh my goodness. Honestly, I hate to say it. I think CLG is the worst team in the league.
I don't. I do
I
not
really
think
do.
that.
I really do.
I think once they get their full roster, they could make playoffs, in my opinion. Well, who's their backup mid laner? Do you know?
No, it's their academy mid laner. So we
So
could.
for the viewers listening, Wild Turtle kind of leaked that they're benching Pobelter for whatever reason,
I
coaching
think he
problems,
said attitude reasons.
which is whack. But otherwise, I actually like CLG's roster, but I'm going to go with Dig. I think they looked pretty good. Sullygo looked good.
Oh,
I think
you
they have Fake
gotta go
God
with
too.
your boy Dardoch. I remember when
Wait,
Fake
does
God.
Dig? Wait,
What?
does Dig have Stixay? Or oh wait, that's GG.
No, that's yeah, Golden Guardians.
Well, I will say I wanted to mention 6A at some point. He looked really good this tournament. I was very impressed.
Do you think so? I wasn't watching him too closely because I just remember he's had a couple god awful splits in a row now.
No, yeah, he had some like fire outplays. Like with 4 rookies and then him as the veteran, I was kind of like, what? Like your veteran's the ADC. It's not really like blah blah blah. But he played really good. Another ADC outperforming expectations.
Yeah, I wonder.
So who are you picking for this game? CLG versus Dig? Well,
I think I gotta pick Dig after I
okay,
say
I
CLG
go
is the
Dig too.
worst. Yeah.
All right. So what are we at right now? Okay, we're at 31 minutes. Saturday. So those are the first 5 games. Saturday we got Fly versus EG. I'm gonna go with EG.
Fly versus EG. Yeah, I agree. I think we've already sort of established EG as being like a top half team, and Fly maybe not so much.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go EG too. I'm pretty low on Fly. So next one, Dig versus TL.
Easy
TL.
one. I feel like every single one with TL we can just skip because I think they're winning every single game this split.
Honestly. All right.
Super easy.
100T versus CLG. I go 100T.
Yep. Agreed. CLG worst team in the tournament in the league. All right.
Honestly, we can just skip over the basic games. Actually, no, we'll keep going through them so we can like compare results next week maybe. But next one, C9 versus TSM. I feel like this one we can maybe talk a bit more on.
Yeah, this one's pretty interesting.
What are your thoughts?
So like I mentioned before with Cloud9, I feel like you can really see that like veteran confidence come through in really clutch moments where the odds might be stacked against them, but Perks or Sven or um, maybe not Fudge, but Vulcan or Blabber or one of
Dude,
these.
I'm not that low on Fudge. I think he got a
No?
little too much hate.
Okay, well we'll see this next week. Huh?
I think he's like I think a good comparison for him would be like Broken Blade. But I think he has more
Yeah,
upside than Broken Blade.
I think in this matchup he's definitely up to the task of going against current Huni.
Like if you give him resources, I do think he can carry.
I mean, he
I
showed that
think
on
maybe
Irelia.
that yeah. I think I don't know, that's just my take. We'll have to see as the
I
season progresses.
I really think this C9 he's like the weak link compared to all the other players. But in these matchups where the enemy doesn't have like a super great top laner like 100 Thieves with Sunday or TL with Alfari, I think the sort of clutch factor of Cloud9 is really hard to overstate and is going to give
But
them
I
the edge.
mean, yeah. I don't know, yeah, I guess that could be a coin flip in the top lane, you know.
Yeah,
We might get a
it's hard to
top
say.
carry performance from one of these players, who knows.
That would be epic. That would really be the way to silence the haters.
I think I'm gonna go with TSM because
Ooh.
I remember when they were practicing with their team before the tournament. Sword Art wasn't able to like be with them in person. He had to kind of quarantine on his own for a bit. So I think bringing in Sword Art to the team house and having Bjergsen be able to talk to them face to face, I think they're not gonna. I feel like the tournament was really good for them, so they could hash out some of those draft issues, some of that like that newness that Bjergsen's probably experiencing as a coach. I really do think that TSM can bring things together. I think Lost and Sword Art have really good potential. There was one game specifically where Lost played Jin and Sword Art played Maokai. and Huni played Ornn, and I just loved the way that they spread their ultimates. They had really good zone control, so which I was impressed with. So it shows that like all their players have talent, and they can do some of these macro things that really elite teams can do to a T. They've shown that potential. They can. I think they're going to be able to unlock that a little bit more. And from what we're hearing, they're still looking good in scrims.
Oh, you have the inside scoop, eh?
I mean, I think Perks and Jensen both said, and I feel like it's pretty. From interviews I've watched, people are saying like TSM, TL, C9, 100T are top 4.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Cloud9. I think just Perks and Sven in particular are really winning me over this season. And yeah,
I'm not that high on Sven. I don't know.
Oh, did you see those Senna games though? Ooh.
I mean, he's good,
Sven.
but whenever it matters, he just picks Ez and then just shits the bed.
Oh my goodness, you're still salty from them not going to Worlds, aren't you?
I mean, yeah, even like last playoffs, he was just playing Ez Yumi into
Yeah, I remember
double
that,
lift.
and he still managed to get caught out like 3 times a game.
But I guess for what it's worth, it's not a big game. So you're gonna go with C9.
Yeah, I'm gonna go C9.
I'm gonna go with TSM.
Good, we have some controversy then.
Cool. All right, next one, IMT versus GG.
I think I largely agree with you that GG shows a good amount of promise for being. Are they a team full of rookies? Niles, Iconic, Blaze Olive, Stixay, and Newbie. I think Newbie and Stixay are not rookies, but that's still 3 out of 5 rookie members, and I think they're showing a lot of promise. And the mistakes they're making are sort of easily fixable ones. Like they have the instinct to go for plays, but they're doing them at times where like their waves are in the wrong spot, which is stuff you can easily correct for compared to not having that.
Wait, did you say? Do they have Insanity? Is Insanity on their roster?
On
Which
Golden
roster is
Guardians?
Insanity on?
No, Immortals. Golden Guardians has a Blaze Olive.
So I will say that Insanity looked really good in the tournament, in my opinion. And I've loved Xerxes because I was a big UOL fan, Unicorns of Love, back in the day in Europe.
Yeah.
They're like the only European team I would follow. And he looked really good for them. He was playing junk. His mid laner was I forget his name, but he would always pick out really cool picks like Ivern, Warwick. He was always willing to play everything, which I really, really enjoyed watching him. I really enjoyed the UOL drafts. So I think I'm not sure if he got his visa issues sorted out, but I think if he's here, I'm gonna pick IMT. Otherwise, like you said, GG showed a lot of promise. I'm gonna go with GG.
Yeah, I think I'm not quite so high on Xerxes, unfortunately. Mostly because I haven't followed his career as closely as it sounds like you have. But
yeah, I think he was in China last split.
Really interesting.
First Western player in China.
I'm gonna give it to Golden Guardians. I think the Immortals roster has like almost just as many rookies, but Golden Guardians, I just like their top laner Niles especially a little bit more than Revenge. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think Revenge is pretty good. I think
I think
a solo queue god.
I think he showed himself to not be terrible.
I think he has like stage fright issues. I don't know. I think he could be a bright spot for this team, but we'll see. So going into Sunday,
oh boy,
Fly versus TL.
Same old, same old. TL's taking that one.
TL, Fly better fly back to
fly back
never
to
mind.
Yeah.
Bad jokes.
There you go. Evil geniuses.
Yeah, go TL. Next one, EG versus GG.
I'm taking Evil Geniuses on that one.
And C9 versus IMT.
This Sunday set seems pretty cut and dry for the most part. I'm gonna take C9.
Yeah, I agree. And then CLG versus TSM.
Oh man, I hate
A
TSM.
classic.
I'm a TSM hater, but I think
You
even
are?
TSM a little bit. Yeah, I think even TSM
Wow.
can
I love TSM.
can beat CLG because at this point
I
I'm an
think
even bigger CLG hater.
I think all the signs point to TSM winning. You know, CLG's benching their mid lane. They have import problems,
Yeah, that's true.
etc. So that means they're going to pick CLG.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Simply because that's the type of game that CLG would win.
Yeah. I can see why you might say that. It feels like in normal circumstances they could never win. They need some.
Truly counter logic.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Good way to put it. All right.
And then 100T versus Dig.
Teaser
I honestly think this might be a bit closer than people are expecting. I think I'm actually going to say Dig for this one. I'll just put in another upset.
Mm-hmm. You know what would be crazy if Dardoch all of a sudden became good again?
I do like Dardoch.
Do I?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I like making jokes about him. That's for sure. But do I think he's like a good addition to teams? It feels like usually not.
Yeah.
It feels like because didn't he got booted off TSM, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
was he on TSM last split? Or was
No,
that
he was on
the
Dig last split.
he was on Dig? Oh, he's still on Dig. Okay,
Yeah, Dig
maybe
this
he's a
off
little better.
season. Dig, like their social media page, they were like super ecstatic. They were like, "We re-signed Dardoch."
I was
Like
gonna say,
it was like the first signing, and they were just like super hyped. But it's like
yeah, they
everyone's like,
must be. They're the only ones who will keep
all
him.
right, Dignitas."
I'm gonna give it to 100 Thieves, though. I'm gonna give a boring prediction. I think Sunday is lovely. I think Closer's pretty good. The bot lane is stepping up.
Yeah, I think normally I'd say 100T, but part
Feeling
of
a
me
little
is just
spicy today, huh?
yeah, I'm feeling like sriracha. All
Uh,
right, so those are our predictions. Next section to kind of wrap up this podcast because not that it's going too long, but I don't know. I don't know what people are into.
yeah, this is we can get feedback on this and adjust as necessary.
Probably just from like our 10 home friends that are going to listen to this and then flame us after.
We'll be flamed, all right.
Yep. All right, so I guess we'll just do some general questions aside from esports.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling about the new season and the new items? What's been your experience in solo queue so far?
Oh man, I've gone through sort of like a roller coaster where at first I hated them mostly because I didn't know what they did. And then I sort of understood them and I started to like them a little bit more than the old items because I maybe superficially thought that they were adding like a lot more diversity. But now it's back to the point where I feel like there's one good build for each champion and there's problems with the new items uh, that still haven't been fixed. Like mana for tank items in general don't feel that great, I don't think. There's sort of like super gimmicky combinations like Moonstone Renewer and Staff of Flowing Water on like every support champion plus Lilia.
There's also
Whereas,
some really random items, like one that just breaks shields
yeah,
and one
there's
that
also
like deals extra damage from like 1,000 units away. It's just like,
there's
why are
some
these in the
items
game?
I feel like I have never seen before in game. Like yeah, like you said, Serpent's Fang I think is the shield breaking one. The is it Cosmic Drive that gives you move speed when you hit a spell?
No, I actually like that item. I think it's good.
Well, there you go. At least
It
someone
has
likes
super high
it.
ability haste, which is why I like it.
I see. But yeah, and then my final gripe is Gale Force, the bane of my existence. I hate Gale Force so much.
I love Gale Force. So fun. I love
Well,
playing with it.
yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. I don't really play any champions that use it, so I only play against it. But
So I guess a little bit about my perspective.
yeah,
So I'm a Shaco one trick for people listening. I know, fuck me, right?
Yep.
But so I play in both AP and AD. AP feels a lot worse from last season. What was that like icy Hextech item that shot out like a few rays?
Ooh, yeah, GLP, right? Hextech GLP.
Yeah, they replaced GLP with Everfrost, and I just absolutely Everfrost just isn't a fun active to use, and I hate the build path. Meanwhile, GLP was awesome, and then you could go augment stuff. There's so many cool different things you could do, and I'm really sad they took that out of the game. That's one thing.
Honestly, yeah, that was like
I
one of my
personally,
favorite items. Shooting
I agree,
those,
and now
yeah,
go
for it.
on.
Just shooting those, just shooting those icy beams in like a
Just shoot
cool
it.
arc. Oh, it was so satisfying.
AP Shaco Jungle with that item is the most fun thing ever. That's all I gotta say.
I can imagine, yeah.
Next, so I guess just what's your overall vision for this podcast, in your opinion?
So I think hopefully as we get a little better, and sort of as we get more information on these teams, we can sort of bring our analysis a little bit further up. Maybe talk about some specific drafts that we see. Because I do like drafts. I don't always understand them 100%, but hearing really high level analysts talk about drafts and then making.
Me too. I love the drafts.
Yeah, so maybe if we could talk about some nice drafts, or if like someone really does like a draft kingdom over somebody, maybe this weekend it'll happen. Hopefully, we could talk about that. I don't know. Maybe even talking about maybe a little bit of EU if teams over there are looking like they're making waves. Maybe just like the bigger teams, because I don't know if
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can.
maybe you can give a synopsis, but I usually
Yeah, I was
stray
gonna
away
say
from you.
I don't know if I can watch like all the EU teams, but yeah, I'd just like to talk about uh, professional league and sort of what we think about the games.
Mm-hmm. I guess my vision for the podcast is kind of just weekly episodes where we're previewing previous games, future games, just talking, Maybe we can learn how to speed through the worst stuff and expand more on the spicy stuff. But I feel
Yeah,
like
I
we did a
mean,
pretty good job
yeah, I'm
overall.
sure we'll be able to just streamline it as we get more practiced.
Definitely. And another area that I was a little bit interested in was bringing on some of our different friends that play League. I think that could be a cool idea,
Yeah, that sounds
having
great.
friend guests. But otherwise, just continue to do this for fun, see where it takes us, is where I'm at.
Yeah, I like it. Because we
So do you have
are.
anything to say with our bountiful amount of fans that are listening to this closing?
Is this our outro?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for listening to Double Buffs.
Double buffs.
Me, League Buff number 1. Greg, League Buff number 2. Or you can be number 1 and I could be number 2. But
Actually, it would be League Buff Greg number 1.
Yeah.
And I was gonna make a bad joke about saying me and Greg versus Greg and I. But I guess this is a good time to close it.
Yeah, quick, cut it off before we make that joke.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis.
Yeah, it's been
We'll
a
see you next
pleasure.
week.
Bye-bye.